What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for November 15th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. I'm going to start a little backwards today. Usually I would not do this, but since both of them came, you got to check this out. First, let me tell you about Carcan. Here it is in all its glory. It's exactly what I expected, and it's amazing. It just clips right around your seat. Boom. Sits there. Put your trash in, kids. You can put storage in it. Use it as a cooler. It definitely has the lining in it. My bags are coming, so you can just toss them out. Super excited to put that into my truck. If you want to get your own car can, it makes a great gift. And I realized, too, if you are an Uber or a Lyft driver, this thing is perfect. So go to carcan.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 off, all one word, for 20% off for your order. It's amazing. I need to get another one. I have 2 kids, 2 seats. Boom. All right. So carcan.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 off for 20% off for your order. And then there's this. I figured since I got to go to work after this, I can't really wear a Mega John shirt to work. But it's amazing. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't seen it yet, this is what it looks like. Absolutely amazing. Exactly what I thought. Go to phillygoat.com, get your Mega John shirt, hoodie. They have other stuff too. They have Kelsey, Sexiest Man Alive, those types of things. Go to phillygoat.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 for 10% off your order. phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery, 10% off of your order. It's amazing. It was well worth the wait. Do some Christmas shopping today. Go to Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery 10% or Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. Go to carcan.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 off for 20% off your order. Do some Christmas shopping today. Both of them are amazing. Way better than I even expected them to be. Shipping was fast. Go today. Get some Christmas shopping done. Buy them for the office. You won't be disappointed. And if you are an Uber or a Lyft driver, I'm sure somehow you can write that off as a business expense. So there you go. I think I should put a disclaimer in there. I'm not really a CPA, so don't take tax advice from me. But it makes sense. Write it off on your taxes as a business expense. All right. So now that all of that is out of the way, let's get into today's episode. But I was so excited to show them both off because they both came probably within 15 minutes of each other. And that takes care of our sponsors for today. All right. Going back to yesterday's question of the day recap, we talked about Aaron Nola possibly signing with the Braves. They were interested. And everybody was pretty split on that. It was literally either good riddance, get rid of him. A lot of people didn't want to pay the 7 years. And if Atlanta or whoever's going to pay the 7 years, everybody seemed relatively okay with that. And I think I am too. I mean, yeah, it sucks that he would go to a division rival, but 7 years, man, he would be like 38 years old by the time that contract. And especially with pitchers, especially in this city, we've seen it with Roy Halladay. We saw it with Cliff Lee, how they just hit a certain point and just instantly dropped off. So if somebody wants to pay him 7 years, more power to you. There was a large contingent of people, though, that thought that it will bite us in the butt at some point. And I don't necessarily disagree with that either. I just can't justify 7 years. If he wants to do a 4 to 5 year deal, the money isn't the issue, in my opinion, just because that's pretty much the going rate for a pitcher. I just don't like the 7 years. And maybe it's sort of just PTSD from all of some of the contracts that Ruben gave out back after the 2008 season. But we have a wide open window, and it should be open for at least the next 3 to 5 years. I don't necessarily want to, and who knows what's going to happen after that because of the way the contracts with Trey Turner and Bryce Harper are, that they are more team friendly as inflation happens. So who knows after that window what we have, and I don't want to be stuck paying a ridiculous amount for a pitcher who breaks down. So there is that. Staying with the Aaron Nola thing, I know that I was listening, or I think it was on Twitter, The Cardinals and Yankees are also teams that are interested in it. Not shocked with the Yankees. Cardinals, I could see Aaron Nola going to St. Louis and kind of being okay there. But other than that, there's no real movement on Aaron Nola. But thank you to everyone who participated in the question of the day. Again, we're seeing more and more action with that. And I have some things coming up, hopefully for December. I talked yesterday about the starting five, and there's just so much going on and so much just with the podcast that it's coming, but it's just moving slowly. All right, Sixers news. Tough one, 132-126. They lost their first game in the tournament. I mean, it's tough to win 9 straight in the NBA, so nothing really to be concerned, but it's the worst game they played, I feel, since the opening game in Milwaukee. And the schedule makers didn't do them any favors. They had their tournament game, and now tonight on the back-to-back, they have the Celtics. So I don't know if part of that was looking ahead, and that's why they came out flat. I mean, don't get me wrong, statistically they played well, but just they looked a little bit off from what they normally were. It also didn't help that the Pacers were hot early. The big takeaway, though, was the court. Reactions were mixed. I had trouble focusing. It was bright, and it's a shame because the City Edition uniforms are amazing. The ones that color blue with the neon in the numbers for the Reading Terminal, and I had trouble seeing it. They kind of blended in with the court, but. I mean, anything I guess the NBA is doing to try to get things more exciting, but I mean that was brutal to watch. But we move on. Sixers Celtics tonight down at the Wells Fargo Center. There also are some rumors, and I think we kind of knew this, so I don't know if this is anything new, but rumors that they're interested in Zach LaVine. There's a couple other teams as well, and I think Chicago is looking to probably move him anyway, and the Sixers have been linked to him for a couple of years. I think he would be a good fit for this team. I forget what his contract situation is, though. I want to say he's only got a year left, so I think you would definitely want to explore making sure you were going to sign him to an extension at some point. But it's still way early for things like that, despite what some others are saying that, hey, they should go all in and try to win the tournament. I'd rather win the NBA championship, but that's just me. Big Five action last night. Temple won a thriller against Drexel, 66-64. Was kind of trying to flip back and forth between the two of them. The Owls are now 3-0 under their new coach. I don't think they're going to really do much, but you never know. They could catch fire and do something. But good win for the Phils last night. Flyers in action tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, Eagles news. And not much going on. They haven't practiced yet since the bye as they're getting ready for Kansas City. So there's not really any updates on injuries or anything like that. The biggest news I did see was that they said the San Francisco game is not going to get flexed to Sunday night. So Fox it's one of the games they're protecting for their 425 America's Game of the Week. And I think that's shaping up to be a good game. And especially for me, it means I don't necessarily have to worry about going to a night game. The other thing I saw, which I thought was pretty funny, I saw a meme that basically showed Jason Kelce at the parade giving his speech in his Mummers uniform. And the caption was, "It's hard to believe that this guy is going to be the best man in Taylor Swift's wedding." I just thought that was funny. You might not, but whatever. I thought it was funny. All right, today we're going to go back to 2010, and on this day, the 5-3 Eagles traveled to D.C. to take on the 4-4 Washington team. And Washington had already beaten the Eagles earlier that season at the at the Link, not the Vet. I don't know why I have Vet on my mind. But that was Donovan McNabb's first start against his former team. He beat them. So this game was his second start against the Eagles. Remember, they got traded him, I guess, in the offseason leading up to this. The Eagles were coming off a big win over the Colts at home against Peyton Manning. If you remember, this is when Michael Vick was the quarterback. So opening up this game, Michael Vick went first play of the game, 88 yards deep to Deshaun Jackson for a touchdown, and it was just all Eagles after that. At the end of the first quarter, the Eagles were up 28-0. At halftime, it was 45-14. And the Eagles just kind of rolled to the 59-28 win over Donovan and the Washington football team. Michael Vick finished the game with probably one of the best fantasy football days you could have. 20 for 28, 333 yards, 4 touchdowns, 8 rushes for 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It was just an insane performance by Michael Vick. Jerome Harrison, who I completely forgot played for the Eagles at one point, ran 11 times for 109 yards and a touchdown. Jeremy Maclin, LaShawn McCoy, and Jason Avant finished out the rest of the scoring for the Eagles. They all had touchdown catches. But yeah, Jerome Harrison, as I was doing the research for this, I completely forgot the Eagles traded for him at one point. If you're wondering how Donovan did, he went 17 for 31, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and was sacked twice. But that 2010 team was very, very fun. They went 10-6. They won the division. If you remember, Kevin Kolb was supposed to start that season, or did start that season for the Eagles. That was part of the reason why they felt they could trade Donovan in the first place. They thought Kolb was supposed to be the heir apparent, but he got knocked out of the first game with a concussion. Michael Vick came in, and other than a couple games he missed with an injury in the middle of the season, had almost an MVP-like year. That game, he had 3,000 yards in 10 games, I think it was. That was the big comeback against the Giants up in the Meadowlands when Deshaun finally returned the. Why they punted to him, I don't know, but when he returned the punt with almost no time left to win the game, they played the Packers in the wild card round at home. The Packers, who would go on to win the Super Bowl that year. And that was the game, and I still get frustrated even thinking about this. And I get that he had some personal things going on, but David Akers, your Pro Bowl kicker, missed 2 easy field goals in that game. And the Eagles lost, I believe it was like 26-21. So he makes both of those field goals like he normally always does. Eagles move on, and then who knows? Maybe it's the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Maybe it's finally a PA, Philly-Pittsburgh Super Bowl. But just a fun year until the very end. I still remember that, walking out and just being frustrated that David Akers, your Pro Bowl kicker, and I like David Akers, don't get me wrong. I just taking me back. I'm having PTSD from that moment. But on this day, it was the Eagles going down to Washington for a Sunday night football game, beating the Washington team 59-28 behind a ridiculous performance by Michael Vick. 333 yards, 4 touchdown passes, 80 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. If you started him, you likely won your fantasy football game that week. All right. From one extreme to the other, we're going from the high of Michael Vick versus Washington to Philly's most disappointing athlete of the day. Today, it is Tyler Green, a pitcher for the Phillies. And to know the full story, you got to get some of the background. He was the Gatorade National Player of the Year, Dr. Pepper Colorado Player of the Year when he was in high school. He was drafted by Cincinnati, number 2 overall, I think it was, but decided to go to college to Wichita State. While at Wichita, he had a great college career, won the College World Series, was the 10th pick overall for the Phillies in the 91 draft. Kind of had a speedy rise through the minor leagues. Dominated down there. I think he pitched a no-hitter in the minor leagues. Got called up late in 93 for that the NL Championship Phillies. Pitched 3 times, started twice, once out of the bullpen. Didn't do too bad. Stayed in the minors all of 94. Probably likely because of the strike, too. He probably would have gotten called up late in that season. But I think it was like mid-August is when they went on strike. Came up full-time in 1995. Came out gangbusters. He was 8-4 with a 2.81 ERA at the All-Star break. Made the All-Star team. And at that point, everybody thought, oh, my God, we have Curt Schilling and Tyler Green to anchor this this rotation. Now we just got to get some players, and damn it, we got a good 1-2 punch. Like I said, he made the All-Star game, pitched a scoreless inning with a strikeout, was a contender for Rookie of the Year with Hideo Nomo. Everything was good. But since he's on our Philly most disappointing athlete list, you know there's more to the story. How'd he fare the rest of 1995? 0 wins. Finished the season 8-9 with a 5.31 ERA. He did pitch 4 complete games, 85 strikeouts in 26 starts. So as good as he was to start that season, he was just as bad, if not worse, to end. He was hurt in 96, only pitched in 4 games. Missed the entire 97 season, and then in 1998 went 6-12 with a 5.03 ERA. People seem to think he may have gotten hurt in the All-Star game and didn't say anything and just kind of struggled through it. I guess we'll never really know for sure, but when it was all said and done, 4 shoulder surgeries, 2 elbow surgeries, and Curt Schilling got traded to Arizona and won World Series there, as well as in Boston. So we went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows with Tyler Green. And I think to me, as a younger kid, and just kind of getting caught up in the hype, because back then, it was just starting to become like the 24-hour news cycle with ESPN and things like that. So all of it was really you're reading the newspaper. And just being so hyped up for this, I think for me, and I don't know if I'm ready to go and do this. This might be something for like a Back to the Future episode, but it is going to lead us to our question of the day. Tyler Green might be on my Mount Rushmore of all-time Philly disappointing athletes. And I mean, we've had quite a few as we're going through this month. I've had people say, oh, I forgot he even played for the Eagles, or oh, I forgot the Phillies even signed him. So tell me what you think. This is the question of the day. Who would be your Mount Rushmore of all-time disappointing athletes in Philly, in keeping with our theme? And you might think this is crazy doing this in November, but it's making us be very, very thankful for guys like Bryce Harper and Brian Dawkins and John LeClaire, guys that were good and lived up to the hype. So tell me, for today's question of the day, who is on your Mount Rushmore of Philly disappointing athletes? Hit me up on social media. Twitter and TikTok, Jimbo_Mont. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I'll post it on there as well. If you leave a comment wherever you're watching or listening to this, but who is on your Mount Rushmore of all-time Philly athletes? For me, Tyler Green has to be on there. That is today's Philly's most disappointing athlete, but I think there was so much hype with Tyler Green from the moment they drafted him that I think far more hype than what there was substance on the field. That's why he makes it for me. But let me know what you think. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of disappointing athletes? And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the concept, Mount Rushmore is the carving in South Dakota where they have the 4 presidents, supposed to be the 4 best based on different things that they've done. So who are your 4 most disappointing Philly athletes? However you want to do this is fine with me. You want to go all Phillies, all Eagles. You want to do one from each team. But there's plenty to go around, so let me know. On this day back in 2010, the Eagles beat Washington 59-28 behind an outstanding performance by Michael Vick. Sixers in action tonight against the Celtics. Flyers in action tonight against the Hurricanes. Not much on the Eagles front as they prepare for the Chiefs. Do some Christmas shopping today. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is incredible. Get your Mega John shirt, phillygoat.com, 10% off. You got to do it. Don't want a hoodie? Get a t-shirt. Get one of each. Go do your shopping. Jim Montgomery, 10% off your order. Get a car can too, especially if you drive an Uber. Those things are incredible. All right, it is Wednesday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Wednesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.